Claudia and Leonardo's family was living a seemingly prosperous period with 3 children and a promising future ahead of them. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to stay updated on all our engaging stories. And now, listen to the story of Claudia and Leonardo's family. However, Leonardo's untimely death has deeply shaken this family harmony. The blow was cruel and left emotional scars, but an unexpected visit from a stranger was about to reveal a series of secrets about Leonardo that his family could never have imagined. You know, one of those perfect families that seem to have come out of a TV commercial? To everyone's eyes, that's what Leonardo and Claudia's family seemed like. The couple and their 3 children lived in a welcoming neighborhood. Leonardo was a financial manager at a well-known company, while Claudia taught chemistry at the local school. For friends and neighbors, life in that house was a picture-perfect picture. But a closer look was enough to see the imperfections of that work of art. Leonardo and Claudia's marriage was going through a deep crisis. Over the years, Leonardo had developed a gambling addiction, a dark secret that was undermining not only the family's financial situation, but also the love and trust they had once shared. Claudia, a strong and devoted woman, found herself torn between her love for Leonardo and her concern for her children's future. She knew she had to make a decision, but uncertainty paralyzed her. What to do when love and disappointment are so intricately intertwined? Meanwhile, Leonardo lived in a world of lies and regrets. Every lost bet pushed him deeper into an abyss from which he did not know how to escape. He saw the disappointment in Claudia's eyes and felt the distance between them growing every day. But for some reason, he could not control his addiction. It was as if he was trapped in a web of compulsions that imprisoned him more and more. Every day, Leonardo woke up with the feeling that it would be his lucky day, believing that he could recover all the money lost in previous bets, as if the universe was conspiring in his favor. This hope, although illusory, was what kept him prisoner of his addiction, always looking for a redemption that seemed increasingly distant. The family, who usually took an annual vacation, had their plans ruined, as Leonardo had used that money in another series of risky bets. Claudia was desperate to protect the children from this painful truth about their father, knowing how much it would shake the innocent, safe world they had built for their children. Despite Claudia's best efforts to protect Leonardo's image in front of their children, the tension between the couple was palpable. Frequent arguments about the family finances and Leonardo's debts undermined the harmony in the home. The constant worry about the accumulated debts had begun to affect everyone's well-being. On a day like any other, when Leonardo came home earlier than usual, his face revealed that something was deeply wrong. The children were already home and sitting at the table, focused on their homework. The atmosphere in the house was tense, and everyone could feel it in the air. "Claudia, we need to talk. Let's go to the bedroom," Leonardo said, in a voice full of worry and sadness, looking directly into his wife's eyes. The children exchanged glances, knowing full well that when their parents had something serious to discuss, they retreated to the bedroom, and many of those conversations ended in unfriendly arguments. "Claudia, I made a terrible mistake. I used company money to gamble. I was sure that I would receive my salary the next day, so I withdrew a sum from the company. The next day, after receiving my salary, I returned the money, but this transaction of mine was discovered and I was fired. My superiors decided not to take legal action because of the years I worked there, but now I am without a job and my reputation is compromised. This time there was no yelling or arguing. Claudia simply sat on the edge of the bed with both hands covering her face, tears flowing silently. She felt a mixture of sadness, despair, and deep concern. "What are you doing with your life, Leonardo? And where is our family going?" Claudia said in a broken voice, looking into her husband's eyes with an expression of despair and determination. "I'm not going down on this ship with my kids. That's the limit." Claudia began packing her things into a suitcase, her hands shaking slightly from the stress she was experiencing. She knew she had to make a drastic decision to protect her kids and keep her own sanity. She instructed the children to start packing their things, explaining that they would be spending time with their grandparents. Her children, confused and worried about the situation, obeyed without question. She wanted to keep them away from the turbulent environment her home had become. "Leonardo, we are married, and in our vows, you promised to be by my side through good times and bad," Claudia said in a voice full of sadness and remorse. "Really, Leonardo? I made that vow, but you are the one who brought evil into our home. You are not taking care of your family," Claudia replied firmly, even though she was emotionally shaken by the situation. She set off for her parents' house, taking the couple's 3 children with her. Tears streamed down her face as she drove, but she knew she was doing what was best for her family at that moment. Leonardo, alone in the empty house, felt the temptation of his vice calling him. It seemed to be the only way to relieve the crushing weight of the problems that surrounded him, and that night, once again, he was overcome by that compulsion. A few days had passed since Claudia had left with her 3 children and was staying at her parents' house. That morning, as she was getting ready to go to work and the children were getting ready for another day of school, the doorbell rang. Opening the door, Leonardo was standing outside. "Good morning, Claudia," Leonardo began with a determined expression on his face. "I decided to stop by to see the children and also to tell you that I have found a new job. It is less prestigious than the one I had before, but I intend to do my best to earn a place in this new company." He looked at his children with a sad smile filled with nostalgia before continuing, "I also have some other news. I have started treating my addiction. Yesterday was my first support group meeting. I know it's too early to forgive myself, but I want you to know that I am committed to changing." Time continued to pass, and Leonardo gradually demonstrated that gambling was a chapter of the past. He filled his mind with activities that kept him away from addiction, such as spending more time with children, dedicating himself to reading and playing sports. His transformation was evident, and he was determined to rebuild his life. One of the most significant changes was his reconciliation with Claudia. They found an activity that deeply connected them. They began taking long walks together that soon turned into runs. Running side by side became a symbol of their journey of rebuilding, a metaphor for the fact that they were literally moving forward together. Claudia, in turn, recognized the sincerity in Leonardo's actions. She saw the genuine effort he was making to change and become the husband and father his family deserved. In time, she decided to return home, bringing her children back to the home they shared. The family, now united and renewed, seemed truly happy. Leonardo's new job didn't have the same prestige or high salary as before, but with financial discipline and careful planning, they even managed to save for the family vacations they had missed in the past. Each trip created precious memories and strengthened the bonds they had worked so hard to restore. What would you do in Claudia's place? Leave a comment with your answer.